Hey everyone, this is Hurricane Hal with your Friday tropical weather update. Tracking the tropics, we have 3 waves coming off the coast of Africa. I'm going to do a brief update here on a snapshot of where we are in the active 2020 hurricane season and where we're going next. So where are we? So far we've already had 15 named storms. 11 of these storms were the earliest development date for that storm. We named the storm starting with A, going towards the end of the alphabet. Storms E through O, that's 11 storms, were the earliest development date for that storm. And the P storm, which comes next, the previous record was September 17th, 2005 from Tropical Storm Philippe. We have 13 days to try to beat that record as well. So a very active season because we've had warm water temps in the Gulf, Caribbean, and Atlantic, and cold water temps in the equatorial Pacific. That combines for a very active season. Yesterday I gave a broadcast. We talked about how we already have 15 named storms. In a typical season, we get 12 named storms. We've already beat that, and we're not quite yet at the peak of Atlantic hurricane season 2020. If we had to put a peak, the peak day of the season would be somewhere around September 10th. The most active period of the tropical season runs from around August 20th to October 1st. So we're really getting in towards our peak, and we've already exceeded the average number of named storms for a given year. Not only do we have an active year, we have a lot of storms tracking farther to the south and west. That has to do with something called the North Atlantic Oscillation. In the phase of the oscillation, we're seeing more of these storms track towards the US, and so we already have 3 landfalls. We had Hurricane Hannah made landfall in South Texas. We had Hurricane Isaias near the South Carolina-North Carolina border. And then, of course, last week, we had Hurricane Laura, Cat 4, in southwest Louisiana. So what can we expect in the upcoming weeks? We have these 3 tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa. The National Hurricane Center gives one of them a 70% chance of development, another 50%, and another 40%. Are they going to track towards the U.S. or not? Really, this time of the year, I had one viewer ask me, what about dry air? They're so close to Africa, can this Saharan dust layer take them out? Typically, that drier air happens earlier in the season, like May, June, and the first half of July. Once we get into later August and September, the dry air is not as prevalent. So typically, it's either if wind shear or crosswinds can make them weaken, or it has to do really with the tracking, and that's what we'll be watching in the next week. I think it has a lot to do with the tracks. You know, these storms want to move from south to north. They want to move energy and temperature from the equator to the poles, but they get blocked by these areas of high pressure. And it's a little bit like basketball. If you ever watch basketball, it's all about positioning. Whoever gets in the lane first gets their position, and other people have to go around them. It's just like that with hurricanes, and we're going to be watching in the next week if high pressure. Some of the models show high pressure moving towards the northeast Atlantic, almost towards Europe. That would allow these 2 or 3 tropical waves, if they develop into tropical storms and hurricanes, to really stay out to sea. But if we can, there's also, it looks like a high pressure will be building near the U.S. East Coast or the Canadian Maritimes. If that establishes its position, say early next week, and really sits in there and develops a strong position, that could actually turn some of these storms west, and we'd have to be really on the lookout for places like Florida through the Carolinas. So I think we'll know more as we move into this holiday weekend. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. I'm here in Galveston. The water temp was 86 this morning, going up to 88 this afternoon. It's really warm water for tropical development, but also if you're near the Gulf Coast or Southeast Atlantic, it's a great time of the year to get out by the beach and enjoy the water. Everyone have a fantastic holiday weekend. I'll check in with you early next week. Take care. This is Hurricane Hal signing off from Galveston, Texas.